everyone, welcome back to Ormsby Farm. My name is Casey. So I have taken a little hiatus from social media. Most of y'all have known, oh my gosh, it's so bright. But today we're gonna sit down and talk about 5 things that you need to know when becoming a first-time homesteader that I wish I would have known going into it, and that I'd like to share some experience with you. So if that is something that interests you, stick around. So here we go.
I'm coming home.
Alrighty, y'all. So we are in my garden, sitting down to have a little talk today about 5 things to know and to consider when becoming a first-time homesteader. Now, most of y'all that have followed me for a while know that I just took a huge week and a half off, which I've never done since I've started YouTube or social media, of no posting, no videos, no nothing, because I got to the point of complete breakdown, overwhelmed, didn't like homesteading anymore. And I had to kind of regroup again, re-find myself, have time to talk to God, to pretty much figure out why I wanted to do this in the first place. And I thought about, when I was going back to make some new videos, what to talk about on why I took this break. One thing when going into homesteading, I've said this a lot on our podcast, Round the Hay Bale podcast, every Mondays, 9 a.m. Central, is that social media and the internet glamorize homesteading. Now, that's not a bad thing, but it's something to consider. So my number 5 would be create realistic expectations for yourself and for your homestead going in. This will be your first year on the homestead. I went into this homesteading journey with a big giant plan of what I was going to do, how many gardens I was going to do, this. And when life happens and those things don't come to fruition, I started to get down on myself. And you can't do that. Your garden will never be the same as your neighbor's garden or somebody that you follow on YouTube's garden. Create a garden that makes you happy and that is sustainable for you and your lifestyle. Now, growing gardens are important because self-sustainability is super important in the homesteading community, but realistic gardens, don't think you can do a 6,000 square foot garden your first year. You need to test out your soil and you need to see what grows well for you. Don't kill yourself. Don't get down on yourself because a certain plant doesn't grow or something doesn't do well. Try it again the next year, but you've learned from your first year and you have more experiences. I went into it saying I was going to have 5 different gardens here on the homestead. I was going to have the pumpkin patch, the Christmas tree lot, this main garden, cornfield, grapevine area, and all of that didn't happen. I've had issues with my greenhouse, which has killed a lot of my plants, but I'm learning and I'm researching and I'm giving myself grace to not get down on myself because something has not done well my first year on this homestead. So number 5, set realistic goals for yourself when you're going into homesteading. Number 4, and this kind of ties in with realistic goals, is think of what your family eats in a year. All the stuff they eat, write it down on a piece of paper and figure out what you can grow to then turn that into what your family eats. For example, our family is big tomato eaters, meaning we like salsas, we like pasta sauces, we like pizza sausage, ketchup, barbecue sauce. So I knew going into it that I was going to have to grow enough tomatoes to fill that order. But also, don't try to do everything your first year. Again, it's a learning experience your first year. Make sure that you are doing realistic list for yourself. So let's say my family uses 57 quarts of pasta sauce in a year. Try to do half of that and then of course buy the other half. so you're not overwhelming yourself with 4 billion tomato plants. So do that, and then each year try to get closer and closer to the 100% of what you grow is what you eat for your family. Don't be down on yourself if you can't grow 100% of what you eat in the first year. Again, realistic goals, and that ties into my number 4, which is sit down and figure out what your family eats, create a list, and then go forward with what you need to grow in your garden to sustain that goal and that list. Number 3. Make sure that you schedule time for your social media. You don't have to be on it 24/7. If you have an Instagram, if you have a Facebook, a YouTube, a Pinterest, a blah, 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 this and that, schedule time for yourself, because living your best life on the homesteading, living that family life and the outdoor farm kind of homesteading feel is what this life is all about. It is not all about being on social media 24/7, how many followers you can get, how many hearts you can get, how many thumbs up you can get, how many comments you can get. So we all know that right now in this day and age, social media is important to grow our channels, but make sure that you schedule it so your whole life is not revolved around social media and what you do and how many post likes you get, so on and so forth. So that would be my number 3, is make sure to schedule times, small times. Let's say an hour in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon, 1 hour at night. That's 2.5 hours out of the 24 hours. You should be good to have family time the rest of the time. And for those like myself that work full time also, you got to schedule it around that too. My number 2, figure out the reason why you want to homestead. Is it because you want to grow your own food? Is it because you want to just live more of a quiet, peaceful lifestyle? Figure that out before you go into it. Because again, this homestead is not for the timid of heart. It's not for the weak of heart. It is a hardcore, working constantly lifestyle. It's a beautiful lifestyle. Don't get me wrong. It is wonderful, but it is a lot of work. Gardens are a lot of work. Animals are not a lot of work, and we don't even have animals yet. All of that is a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time, and you have to love it. Otherwise, it just turns into tasks that don't become fun anymore. And then you lose all of the love that you had for this lifestyle. So number 2 is go into it on why. Why is it you want to live this homesteading lifestyle? And why is it that you want to move out to the country? And number 1, don't overwhelm yourself. That kind of ties into a lot of my choices here that I've talked about. But when you're doing multiple things, working, gardening, raising animals, all of that kind of stuff, you need to remember that you need to put yourself first and don't overwhelm yourself. Don't runneth your plate over. Here at Ormsby Farm, I'm on a podcast with my 3 dear, dear best friends. I run our YouTube channel, all of our social medias. We also have a business on candles and soaps. We also are working into a business of rental and travel, as well as selling our products. So you can't overwhelm yourself with too many stuff on the plate. Give yourself grace. Give yourself credit that you can't do everything. Nobody can. Not even your favorite YouTubers that you watch all the time. All of us still have to make sure that we don't overwhelm ourselves when we're doing these type of ventures and business ventures. So that's my number 1. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Again, I'm so glad to be back on the social media. Thank you to everyone who has sent sweet comments and sweet emails. I'm fine, I'm better, I'm rejuvenated. I figured out why I love this lifestyle again. And I hope you continue to tune in to our journey. Garden season in a couple of weeks is coming to an end to where I'll start the fall season. We're going to start shooting our 3rd season of the podcast soon. So again, make sure you're subscribing and that you're hitting that bell, because that just notifies you when new videos of mine come out to the Ormsby Farm channel, as well as follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're now on Twitter at Ormsby Farms. So follow us there for day-to-day activities. And y'all, be blessed, take care of yourself, and remember these 5 tips that I'm giving you. And until next video, be blessed.
I'm coming home.